Hey guys, so this is Miss Merriman again. I'm going to talk to you today about grading. I've had several teachers email me and ask me about grading on Schoology and if there is an easier or quicker way to do it. So I'm going to go in and show you basically what I would consider the quickest way to grade on Schoology and the easiest way. You are, of course, are not required to grade this way. You can do it whatever fits you or in whatever way fits you, but this is just how I do it. First thing that you need to do is go into the assignment. If you're going to Gradebook to grade your stuff, or Gradebook to grade your stuff, I don't ever go into Gradebook. For starters, it's not hooked up to TAC yet, so it's kind of a moot point for us, but it does take longer to grade through the Gradebook, which seems ironic, but it's really not. Okay, so I'm going to go into the folder where the assignment is. I'm going to show you two things. One, I'm going to show you a basic assignment, and then I'm going to show you a test. Tests are pretty easy, but I'll show them both to you anyway. First one is basic assignment. What I do is I go into the assignment where I assigned it to the kid. I click on it, and over on the side, just like in Blackboard, it says that these need grading. Now, I know that these are not the only students I have that are online that are going to have done this assignment. I have students in every class period. All these little blue dots mean that I have stuff in there that needs grading. However, if I go into it from this, it's much simpler on me. So I'd go into Gemma's, into her assignment, and I pull up her answers. She's taken a picture of them. That's great. I go through, grade it. Up here, I enter the grade. We'll just pretend, say she made an 82. Here, I put in comments. This is not a requirement. It is something I personally do to give the students feedback. Usually what I do is I tell them you got number 5 and 10 incorrect or wrong. I then tell them what happened. 5 incorrect because 10 incorrect because. I've typed whole paragraphs in this small little box and it's taken it without any issues. Of course, like I said, you're not required to do this. Anyway, once you have put in whatever notes you want to put in and you have put in the score, you need to select show to student. If you do not show it to the student, obviously they can't see it. And then you click submit. I'm not going to submit it because this isn't a real grade, so I'm just going to pretend. But once I'm through grading this one, I don't have to go back out and start over. What I do is I come over here to this arrow right here and I click. And it takes me to the next student in this class period that needs this particular assignment graded. And I do the same thing with them, enter the grades, enter the comments, click submit. Once I go through my third period, I still don't have to go back out. Now I go over here where it tells me my section, and I go to my next class period. And I grade all of the papers in that class period that need grading. And like the previous one, I only have 2. Then I go to my next class period. Let me go to one I know has a lot. 6th period should have at least 2 or 3, I think. And then I go to all these papers that need grading. Yeah, there's more in here. Basically, when the arrow goes away, that means that you're done with the papers that need grading in that class. So that's how you would grade assignments. And let me show you how you would grade tests. Tests should be simpler for you. You have the ability with tests to put in the answer. So if it's multiple choice or it's fill in the blank or it's matching or it's true false, you can actually put in correct answers and Schoology will grade it for you. I enter it the same way. I may have done that a little fast, so I'll show you one more time. I go into the test from where I assigned it. I click on the title of it. And this brings me right away to the results. If no one has submitted to the test yet, it's not going to bring you to results first. It's going to bring you to questions first. But if the system recognizes that people have submitted, this is the first place it brings to you. So I go in here and I go through all of the ones that are marked in blue. Notice how they look different. That means that this kid has submitted something and I haven't graded it. Now, if you have entered in the correct answer for your assignment or for your test, like it was matching and you entered all the correct answers, Schoology will grade it for you. And instead of the star, you'll have the grade. I personally did short answers. The Schoology won't grade those for you unless you put in the answer, and then the answer has to be exactly the same. So I don't recommend. I just put answers will vary. You have to go in and grade these yourself. Same way with essays, you got to go in and grade that yourself. But everything else, Schoology will grade for you, and then you simply just come into each one and check the grades. If you have to grade them yourself, you just go into View Attempt, and here you've got several options that are really important to a lot of people. For starters, you know how much time it took the kid to do it. You know when they started and when they finished. And mine are only allowed one submission, so the number of submissions doesn't really necessarily matter to me. Of course, the score says it's pending review. So I want to come over here to this arrow. I can do several things from here. Obviously, I can grade it. I go into View or Edit to grade it. But I can also do a couple of other things that is very valuable to teachers. If you have a user that they need to retake it because they failed it, or you want to give them a second opportunity for whatever reason, you can check Unsubmit, and this takes away their submission and they can go back into their test and they can work on it again. If you have a user that has technical issues, same thing, you can select Unsubmit. Now, Unsubmit and Delete are the same thing except for one major difference. Delete makes the submission go away completely. What that means is that the time that it took your student to take the test will be lost. You'll be able to know about how long they took the second test, but the first test is completely lost. You've completely deleted it, so it's completely lost. If you unsubmit it, it keeps this information, and so you can see how much they did with the first time and how much they did with the second time. So I would suggest unsubmitting it, but for our cases, I would just go in and grade it. Each one allows you to leave a comment. I only left a comment for the student if she got the question wrong, okay? Up here on the left, it tells you these points. This is not her grade. This is not how many points she's gotten for this particular thing. I have to decide this manually, okay? This means for this question, Gemma can get 8 points, but it doesn't mean I have to give her 8 points. I could give her 4 points. Let's say that I think that she was kind of close to getting this right, but not completely, so I give her half credit. I can do that. I do have to add this up manually myself. So I have to say, okay, she got 4 points for the first question. I need to write it down or put it in a calculator somewhere. And then I go down to each subsequent question and give them however many points they got for that question. When I'm done, I save my changes. I do not enter anything for grades here. If you enter something right here, it's just telling you that, oh, I don't want them to make this question 9 points anymore. I want to make it worth 5 points. That's all that's doing. Okay, so don't mess with this in here. Once you've set up the points, you probably want to keep them the same, but you do want to save the changes if you make comments. You are not required to make comments. Please do not feel as though you're required to do that. So then I go back to results and I enter her grade here. So let's say she made an 82. I put it there, and now Gemma knows in the grade book and here that she made an 82. And I go down and save it because I want to keep that information. I'm not going to save it today just because that's not a real grade, but that way you know how to do it. And that's how you do grading in Schoology. Oh, one more thing. Just like with your regular assignments, if you come up here, you can drop this box down and go to other classes so that you can grade this test or look up grades on this test all in one location. Okay, it also tells me these little blue dots mean that I have grading to do there. There's no dots here because I've already done the grading here. Like I said, I've actually already graded third period too, but I deleted those grades because I don't want to show those online. But I haven't done 8th period, so there's still a blue dot there. The check just simply means that's the class that I am currently looking at. So that's how you do grading in Schoology, and I really hope this helps you guys. Thanks.